You're watching extras from the extension on Eagle Community Television. This show is brought to you by Carico Implement.
Hello, I'm Stacy Campbell with K-State Research and Extension of Ellis County. Well, I'm going to talk about a subject that we've visited about before. It's called trichomoniasis, or more commonly known as trich. Trich has been more of a problem out in the western part of the United States, where there's large tracts of land that are owned by the Bureau of Land Management, and there's communal grazing herds. But basically it's been just kind of slowly coming from the west over to the east, and that's really been exaggerated, or I guess it's really increased because of this drought that we've been in for the last several years across the United States. There's been more cows moved around and breeding stock, so that's probably why we're seeing an increase of trichomoniasis here in Kansas. Trich is actually a type of venereal disease that is spread through sexual contact from the bull to the cow. Trich is actually a protozoa. It's not a virus or a bacteria. The bulls are the carriers of any age. The trich, that protozoa, is non-invasive. It's found in the folds of the bull's sheath, and as the bull gets older, those folds get deeper and it becomes a more conducive area for those protozoa to be and to even multiply. So trich can be more of a problem with your older bulls, but the younger bulls can be carriers as well. There are no clinical signs in the bulls that there's anything wrong with them. They appear and are healthy. What happens is when they go to breed the cow, if they are trich carriers, that protozoa is transferred over to the female, and it will basically attack that fetus and kill it, usually between about 50 to 70 days. And so if you have a long breeding season, you've got the bulls out there for a long time, you may not know you have trich, because the female can eventually build up some immunity that's short-lived, and she can come back into heat and the bull can breed her again, and she can keep that fetus sometimes that second time and go ahead and go to a full pregnancy and have a calf. But if you've got that really long breeding season where the bulls are out there for a long time, it's going to take a little while, but in 2 or 3 years you're probably going to notice that you're getting more open cows at the end of the breeding season and fewer calves on the ground. If that is starting to occur with your herd, you might have trichomoniasis within your herd. Then you'd want to start testing your bulls, all of your bull battery, and if you do buy any used bulls, you want to make sure that they've been tested and are negative for trich. And if you go to bull sales, of course, you'll be buying virgin bulls, which is a good thing. There are obviously going to be bulls that haven't been exposed to any females, and they won't have trichomoniasis. There's not a cure for trichomoniasis. There's no treatment for them. There is a vaccine available for the cows, but it just decreases the period from infection to immunity. It doesn't give them full immunity. And the vaccine, as I said, is not labeled for the bulls. The best thing you can do if you think you have trich is, of course, test your bull battery. Make sure you bring in virgin bulls or bulls that have been tested and are negative for trichomoniasis. Also, if you can shorten up that breeding season, that can help you. Older bulls can be more carriers, so if you've got an older bull battery, definitely would probably want to get them tested and consider bringing in some new non-virgin bulls. Also, if you do have some animals that do test positive for trichomoniasis, the bulls, you do not want to sell them to anybody for breeding stock. They are supposed to go to slaughter. There's been some new regulations that the Kansas Animal Health Department through the Kansas Department of Ag have implemented to try to combat trich and try to get it under control. And I would entertain that you go ahead and visit with your veterinarian, or even get on the website and Google up the Kansas Animal Health Department, and you'll see these new regulations for trichomoniasis. A lot of them deal with transporting the cattle or trying to keep the trichomoniasis under control. This has been Stacy Campbell with K-State Research and Extension of Ellis County with Eagle Community Television.
You're watching extras from the extension on Eagle Community Television. This show is brought to you by Carico Implement.
When you're working around the yard this year, your work will be easier if you make a visit to Carico Implement. They make your chores easier with tractors, lawnmowers, trimmers, generators, and all the other special tools. When working in the yard, you'll also want to look your best, and you can when you dress with John Deere clothes. And if the kids need toys, they can take care of that too. Carico Implement, 300 West 48th Street, just north of Walmart in Hayes.